Okay, so today we're diving into a cold case, and it's one that's really, really intriguing. It's the disappearance of the Sodder children.
Mm-hmm.
And this happened on Christmas Eve, 1945, in Fayetteville, West Virginia. And we're going to be relying on some information from Unsolved Crime Tapes. That's going to kind of guide us through the facts and, maybe some of the things that we can't explain. Our goal really is to just get to the bottom of this case. What happened to the Sodder children.
It's a case I think that really sticks with you because there are so many just strange things about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So picture this. It's Christmas Eve, 1945. George and Jenny Sodder, they're at home with 9 of their 10 children. A fire breaks out, right? A terrible event in itself. But then 5 of their children just vanish.
Right.
And that's the central mystery here. No remains nothing. That's what we're going to try to understand.
And the source material brings up that George Sodder was an Italian immigrant and that he had pretty strong anti-Mussolini views. And so you have to think, did this play any kind of role in what happened that night?
Yeah, it really makes you think, was this more than just a house fire? There's got to be something more to this story.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the weird things that happened leading up to the fire. So Jenny Sodder, she receives a late-night phone call.
Oh, wow.
And there's nothing but like this eerie laughter on the other end. What do you think about that?
I mean, that's just so creepy, right? It sounds like an intentional act to kind of mess with the family.
Right.
And then the power goes out right before the fire starts. That seems more than just a coincidence.
It's a little too convenient, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then the family's ladder, which is normally kept, in its place, is missing. So they can't even reach the second floor as this fire is spreading. This just screams to me that something's not right.
Yeah.
It's not adding up.
Yeah, like somebody is trying to stop them from getting to the second floor.
Yeah, yeah. What's so interesting is that these weird occurrences, when you put them all together, they start to paint a very disturbing picture.
Totally.
Okay, so the fire, rips through this house. But here's where it gets really strange. Firefighters, they don't find any remains of the 5 missing children. I mean, none. And the source material even mentions expert opinions that even in, very intense fires, there are usually bone fragments left behind.
Yeah, that's the craziest part. It makes you wonder if they were even in the fire to begin with.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then we get these reports later on. It's like these little glimmers of hope that maybe there's a different story here. So a witness comes forward and claims to have seen the missing children in a passing car on the night of the fire.
Oh, wow.
You can only imagine what that must have done for the family, a little bit of hope.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then years later, a photograph emerges, and it supposedly shows one of the missing boys as a young man.
Interesting.
If that picture is real, it changes everything. It means that maybe at least one of them survived.
Right.
So with all of this weirdness, and this lack of solid evidence, what are the main theories about what happened?
Well,
Kidnapping is a big one.
right. Yeah.
Maybe even tied to George Sodder's political views? Or could it have been a planned abduction using the fire as a cover-up? I mean, it's like straight out of a movie.
Yeah, and when you consider all the things we've talked about, the phone call, the power outage, the missing ladder, the fact there were no remains, it's hard to believe this is just an accident. It just doesn't add up.
Yeah, and the political angle gives a possible motive.
Exactly.
But after all these years of investigation, the source makes it clear we still don't have any concrete answers.
Yeah.
The fate of those 5 children is a complete mystery.
It's those unanswered questions that are so unsettling.
Yeah, so what do you think about all of this? Was this a tragic accident with just a bunch of strange coincidences? Or do you think there was something more sinister at play?
With no physical evidence of the children in the fire and those witness accounts later, it's hard not to think that maybe that fire was a distraction. And if that's true, then where does that leave us? What really happened to those kids? It's a chilling thought.
It really is.
Yeah.
And on that note, we're going to leave you to ponder that question. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
For another deep dive.
Yeah.
Until next time.